Okay, so now let's look at the second half of the piece. In the second half we move to the parallel major E major. That means we've lost the luxury of this open G. It's now G sharp, of course. So you're going to find this second half a little harder on the left hand, a little more taxing on the left hand. There are more bars and more stretches. So it's going to be a little bit trickier, but I'm going to break it apart for you and hopefully make it a bit easier. We start here on a G sharp on the first string, that's 4th fret with the little finger, and a G sharp here, 3rd string, 1st fret, and that's our first bar. Again, the right hand has stayed the same. Ring, middle, index on strings 1, 2, 3, and our thumb on the bass 6th string. The melody again then falls in step from the G sharp to the F sharp, 2nd fret, to open. If I put that all together for you, you'll get this. Okay, we then come to, again, one of the most taxing pieces for the left hand. A full 6th string bar here at the 2nd fret. And for the first time in the tune, and the only time it happens actually, is when the ring, middle, and index fingers come back in from the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd to the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th strings. You can see that here in this camera. You have now ring on the 2nd, middle on 3rd, and index on 4th. This is over a B major chord, essentially, with a sus note here, the C note, and an F sharp on the bass, so thumb still on the 6th string. Okay? First and only time it happens, but be ready for it, I think. The melody then falls to a D sharp, it's 2nd string, 4th fret, repeated. At that point the thumb comes up and hits the B bass. You then have a bit of a swap between the major and minor 3rd in the melody, the D sharp, to D natural, back up to D sharp. If I put all that together for you, you'll have, with the melody on the 2nd string, you'll have this 5th fret, 4th fret, down to 3rd fret, and back up to 4th. And watch also for the bass note there, 6th string, F sharp, 5th string, B. Okay, that's quite a tricky bit. You're going to find that can be quite sore in the left hand. So again, think about how much pressure you're applying there. You want to apply just enough to get the notes and no more than that. There are some other things there with the bar I found you might want to think about. The first one is, don't feel you need to just cover 6 strings and no more. We all have different little nooks and crannies here in our index finger. Everyone's different there. You'll want to find your own way of doing this. I like to go and overshoot a little bit. Do you see that? With my first finger. It's gone over the top of the fingerboard. But that means my knuckle here, my mid joint, it's quite tough there. And I'm using that to catch this 3rd string, which is quite difficult during that passage, to keep the 3rd string and A note ringing. Quite often you'll find people, there'll be a dud note there like this. So I like to say, just use that mid joint on my finger to make sure I catch that note. I like also the bass coming from the F sharp to the B. So now in bar 21 we land on the 7th fret, just like we did in the first half on a B chord. But the melody is now on the 9th fret, that you can use your 3rd or 4th finger for. That's notes repeated. You're up to D sharp with the 11th fret with a little finger. But at this point you need to be careful to bring the little finger back to the 9th fret. So you have a few options there. You can find whatever one works best for you. You can land with a little finger on the 9th fret and up and back. Although you may find that overuses the little finger a little. You can do that, or you can land with the 3rd finger on the 9th fret. Reach up with the little finger and then bring it back. Whatever way you choose to do it, just be careful that you finish there with the little finger on the 9th fret, because it helps prepare the next section. When we land on this B chord at the 7th fret, again with the melody on the C sharp. You can land either with the little finger or the third finger, but whatever way you choose to do it, you have to be careful to join smoothly the second fret bar to 7th fret bar, and do it musically. It's quite difficult to do, especially with all that tension that's going to be building up in your left hand. You may want to try, if you know, musically you can maybe bend that a little to see what happens, and make a little musical idea out of it to give yourself a chance to get up there. But whatever way you do, you need to finish the bar with your little finger on the 9th fret. So you've just finished bar 22 with your little finger on this 9th fret. That's very important because it allows you then in bar 23 to build up this chord, which is going to be an E chord with a C sharp suspension. You see here I've got my little finger on the 9th fret of the 1st string, 3rd finger on 2nd string, and middle finger or 2nd finger on the 3rd string. Okay, so what happens is your little finger falls back to 1st finger on the 7th fret. That's just a regular E major chord, and builds back up again to the 9th fret. Then quite a difficult pivot round. So your little finger is on the 11th, fret. That's quite difficult to keep fingers 2 and 3 on those 2 strings. Okay, let me show you what I would do. You see my left hand will prepare for that little stretch. Okay. You then move into a bar at the 9th fret, a half bar at the 9th fret, with your little finger on the 12th fret. And again, thumb is still on this bass E string. And again, that's a really an E major triad we're on there. Okay, so with your little finger on the top E note, it's repeated, then falls chromatically, frets 12, 11, 10, fingers 4, 3, 2. You can see this melody note wants to go here. Well, when that happens, the underlying harmony has changed. We've now got an A chord line underneath, and this poses one of the most difficult, I suppose, left hand stretches in the tune. You have your little finger jumps to 9th fret with a little 2 fret bar on the 5th fret. So that's quite a big shift. You've come from 9th position to 5th. You have a big left hand shift and quite a difficult stretch with the left hand. So that's probably one of the most difficult bits in the tune, and you're probably going to have to spend a bit of time with that. You'll repeat that upper C sharp note to 7th fret B to 5th fret A. The trick here really is gluing those 2 together seamlessly. It's quite difficult. Let me play it really slowly for you and let you get a feel for it. And what I would do there is land my little finger on the melody note, the C sharp, just a fraction of a second before the 2 harmony notes go on. It'll just make it that little bit easier. That's my priority, getting on the C sharp note, and my thumb coming up to an A bass note, and after that I can build the chord up. Okay, so I say that's one of the trickiest bits in the entire tune. You'll want to spend probably a few weeks getting that right. If I can play it really slowly for you, I'll let you hear the whole thing combined. So we're now on bar 29 of the piece. We have a G sharp on the 1st string and a G sharp on the 3rd with the open 2nd, just like the beginning. But before we talk about that, we have to talk about the join. Now remember, we've just come from this A chord, sort of 5th fret, and we need to get here, really to an E chord, and that join is going to take a bit of work. You may find a little bit of tasteful rubato will help if you delay ever so slightly before landing on that G sharp. You can also, don't forget, since the first note you pluck is this G sharp on the 1st string, make sure you get there first, but you can delay ever so slightly getting on the G sharp on the 3rd string. And that will help too. Don't feel you need to get both on together. If I do this, I have, make sure and get here, and then the first finger on the third string can come later. Into your next chord then, it's really into a B chord again, into the dominant chord. You keep the G sharp fixed and build a B chord around it like this. So I have my fourth, third and second fingers all across the fourth fret, first, second and third strings, with a second fret bar, but I'm really targeting this fifth string, second fret B note to get that sound, okay? So we have, and then, okay, watch for that shift. The melody note stays fixed, but what happens underneath has changed to a B chord. The melody then rises. You have to bring your little finger up to an A note, fifth fret, and then let go into the bar, second fret, F sharp. So we have, and there's our B chord, or our dominant chord, which is going to lead us into the last little section. So just like at the end of the first half, we have a descending E minor arpeggio. We now have a descending E major arpeggio, just like the first half. Then you need to jump as musically and as quickly as you can to an E chord. Now again, the right hand has a little bit more work to do here. The thumb will come up to the fourth string again to pluck that E note. Then the fifth string B note. Then quite a left hand stretch here to get this G sharp bass. And then the two outer strings open again. So let me play that nice and slowly for you. To an E chord with a thumb on the fourth, fifth, G sharp, the two outer strings open. Let me play that whole section for you there to finish off the second half. So we've come from the A chord. And just like the first half, we'll finish that off with two open B strings. And there we go, we're back to our repeat of the first half again.